Hello, welcome back to our computer series, guys. And just wanted to talk about Fishton for a minute. There's going to be some big updates coming for the AI, so if you want to check it out, it's going to be a good time to look at that. Started off by deleting that piece. I actually figured a different way. But let's go into our coloring first and just make this a little easier for us to see things, hopefully. And go to tab, color. Tab didn't work. There we go. And I'm just going to put a background color on this, just to make things a little easier to build from, because we can't really see anything right now. Oops, I did that the wrong way. Why do I do that? Plus new. Make that green. Good start. Messing up pretty good. Alright, and then color these things too. I guess not attached. Maybe we'll just move forward. Anyways. Start off. Actually make sure you're out of edit mode. Then make yourself a cube. Shrink it down until it's workable. We erase that other piece because I thought of a different way to do it that's probably a little better. It makes a little more sense. So, I'm not sure which way we want to set up our motherboard, but let's just do this way. I'm going to build our RAM slots over here first. And again, sorry about the old video, but I have found a better way, and I think you're going to like the results better this way for the slots. Just went and looked at a few computers and found a better way to do it, I think. Alright, and we want it to look as good as it can, right? So, first thing I would do, Shift D. I'm going to make the second piece. Stretch it that way. Thin this way. Okay. Try to find the size of the slot that you're going to want to use. Probably a little one. So you're just going to want the teeth of the device to connect in there. And we can still change the frame after, so we'll go ahead and bool this out. It's probably a little better of a look for, say, a RAM or something that looks a little short, so we'll just stretch it a bit. Something like that. That's going to be our RAM. And we're going to make a couple more adjustments just to make it look a little more real. So we will Shift D. No, we won't. Let's delete that. We'll Shift A. Make a cube. Shrink it down again. Shrink down some more. Just going to use a scaler to do it nice and gently to what we need. Just going to kind of put it in place. Move it over a little bit more. It's about the same size now, I think. It's a little bigger on the one side. Even the gap. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but the more accurate it is, the better it's probably going to look for you. And we're going to do something like this. Grab them both and just drag them straight out for now, just to make sure we can see all the angles. Okay, I'm pretty satisfied that's about the same. I guess I'm still going to change that though. Let's actually do that. Sorry guys. Don't practice this stuff, just kind of make it together. I did go look at some computer stuff though. that to just be slightly bigger than the other ones. I don't know if that counts as cheating, because I always claim that I just kind of freestyle stuff. Cheated. Alright, so I'm pretty convinced that's where I want it to be. I'm just going to duplicate that, Shift D, drag that one straight out, and we're just going to shrink it. And it's going to make it look like the little tab that you would lean on to kind of unlock it. Wheel it out, get the look you want. If you want it to be a little smaller, now's the time. Stick up quite a bit. That's what I'm going to do, something like that. And I'm going to just move it down a hair, just so it's more in line with the outside. If you want, you can go into Edit, grab this top edge. Let's grab the top face actually right here. And you can just lean it back if you want. You can use the angler too, but I'm just going to do that. So I'm going to grab that. Wait, yeah, let's grab that. Let's get out of Edit, grab that, Control J. And then we're going to Shift D. And we won't be able to use that, so we'll just take it up manually around the right amount. We'll go down here. And we will give it a 180, and that's not the right one. Okay, tells the same on both sides basically. Make sure it's still about the same. It can go into the motherboard a little bit, but that's pretty good, I think. So once you're happy with the size in all ways, we're just going to go ahead and Control J that. And I left the control point in the middle where I can move it nice and evenly. Okay. Place it. You're happy with that. Probably 4 slots. You can go more, you can go less, depending on the computer you're making. Maybe you want a couple different models, some with 2, some with 4. We're going to do 4 for the example. Okay. It's probably pretty good. Yeah, we'll do the CPUs a little different too. We'll do them more square like that, though. It just looks better, I think. If you need more room away from your CPU, go ahead and move them all over, just to move them together. Keep the gap nice and even like that. So maybe we'll do that next. Go ahead and start the CPU anyways. I joined that together in the last video, I believe. But we are going to steal a piece from it. So click off of it. We're going to just push L on this back piece, Shift D. And the reason I do that is that then I can at least match the size of it. And we'll hit P, and then hit Selection. Now we've separated it. We've copied it. We've separated it. So click off of it. I think this is it. Nope. Click it again. That's it. Alright. So we're going to take this piece, we're going to Shift D. And then we're going to make a little bit bigger by hitting S. Alright. Remember that other piece is inside of it. So let's have a look what they're going to look like. So we basically need to make sure that the back plate's going to be big enough to make some kind of mount that goes around, maybe. Something like that. So, and we'll cut out the middle piece from that. So let's make that one thicker. Move it in, cut the other piece into pieces. I think we're all the way through. It's hard to see on this angle. Okay, once you're good with it, go ahead and bool it. You can make it thicker if you're having problems. Okay, so essentially this should be exactly the size as that. We have a cutout of it. We're going to do S. Just give it a little gap. Should be a gap on each end evenly. Okay, because we're just going to make a mount to go over top of this with. Because we're that clever. Alright, let's do some more stuff. If you're making your computer disassemblable, we're going to have to start adding screws where you can screw these parts in. So work on that real quick. Do something like that. Maybe a little thinner. Do this guy. Shift D it. We'll go way longer. So much longer. And then we'll shrink it until we're happy with the size of it. If this is the size of your screw, obviously we're going to shrink the whole thing, but if you're happy with this in proportions to that, go ahead and make a square. Yeah, that's right, a square. Shift D. Nope, that just repeats things. Delete that. Shift A. And we'll make a square. Shrink that. And you're probably wondering what I need a square for on the screw. Well, how are we going to use this screw? It doesn't even function, right? We need it to have some type of tool to open it. We can make a star, or we can make a flathead. I usually do a flat just out of simplicity, but maybe we'll try to do a star. I don't think I've ever tried. Oh, well, obviously you could do a square too. That's silly. That's the last one I thought of while I was using a square too. Obviously you just have to size it, make sure your edges are right and all that. But let's try to do a star because I've never done it before. So then you can make your computer parts come off with different tools if you want to make different tools you have to get in your game or whatever the case may be. So what I'd probably do is make 2 of them. I figure out what the axis is that's going to turn them. I think it's going to be this one. Do 1 out of 45. And then I do this one on a minus 45. Oh, I don't know why I added 100 there. And since this is awesome and this is how we do it, I would be done. I would just have to do a bool. Oh, I didn't hook the other one. Again, same thing if you missed that one like I did. Boom. We have our head. Perfect. Good. So once we're happy with that, maybe you want to make this a bit thinner. Something like that. Make sure they're connected, for there's not a gap so it doesn't look silly. I think I'm going to go a bit bigger like that. And we will make the head the control point, so I'll Control J to connect that. And we will get this bottom part screwed in, and we'll stop this video and come back for the next one. Let's figure this out. And it'll help us figure out our screw size we're going to need at the same time. We are no longer in the middle of the board, so we can't use math to do our work for us. Just shrink the screw to an appropriate size. Just going to have to hand bone. Are we on an axis? No, we're not on any axis. So we're going to have to hand place them all. But fortunately, it's not very big and our screws are pretty large, so it's not going to be too hard. But we're going to shrink them some more, like that. And sink it in something like that. Shift D. If you're happy, of course, with the positioning. Okay. Grab them both. Shift D. Drag it across until you're happy with the positioning. It's pretty intricate, so you're going to probably have to get right in here like I am. Something like that. If you're happy with all your positioning, grab all 4, Shift D, move them back. Now just grab these 4 here. Grab your face last, and we should be able to bool the shape. Now we have our screw holes, and we have our screws. If you want to do the same to the motherboard, Shift D, wind it in as long as this is the placement of where it's going to be on your motherboard. I went past it. I went far past it. tried to figure out where it's going to be. Probably like that. Click your motherboard. Bool tool. Difference. Now you have holes that go into your part. Okay, let's click this together. Right? Move in a little bit if we want, because I gave them a little bit of an inset. Your GPU. So now if we grab them all together, they fit into our motherboard. Oh no, god damn it. For now we can join them. Let's control J, and we'll just separate the CPU after, just so we can move them all together. Sometimes they do that because all their axes are different. You go to move one, they all move on different axes. That looks pretty good. And you can see we have our motherboard, or our GPU frames screwed to the frame of the motherboard. So now we just got to make a cap for the top of the GPU. The next episode, and we'll move on from there, and we'll make our CPU, and we'll make our GPU mounts, and we will do a couple circuits. We'll do a battery that are usually in a motherboard. We'll do our connectors where you would connect your stuff to the back. We'll get there anyways. But hope you had fun. Remember, check out my game on Steam, Fishton, A Town to Remember. It's a lot of fun, a lot of big updates coming. Remember to like, thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll get going a little better next time. Thanks, guys.